Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic, and welcome to this episode of Tarot Reading by Janine. You can find her work at Ascending Ravens here on YouTube and also on Tarot by Janine. Janine, welcome back to the show.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Jean-Claude.
How's it going, Janine?
Good, good. Crazy, busy, crazy, but good.
Yeah. Well, first of all, how did your party go Monday night? We kind of ended the show abruptly. You had some people waiting for you in the car, and they were like, "Come on, Janine, we're going to a party."
Somebody cooked a big dinner for a friend, and we were going to their dinner. It was a birthday. You know, the Scorpios are having their birthdays, and I got lots of Scorpio friends. So it was actually more. She's actually my son's eldest sister. But we're literally, the minute we met, we just loved each other.
Awesome. Man, we have a huge news cycle since last Monday. There's so many stuff, so many items on my slide deck tonight. I'm not sure we'll be able to go through all of it. But first, let me do a bit of housekeeping. Last week, Carla, the amazing Carla, gave us this amazing pyramid as a donation for the show. And the winner of this pyramid is Janine Hoffman. So Janine Hoffman, you're the winner of this amazing, I think this one was called Gaia or Blue Gaia, beautiful pyramid. And so both Carla and I have sent you an email. If you're watching the show and you haven't seen the email, it could be in your spam folder. So please either reach out to me and we'll make the connection so that we can mail this out to you. Now, for this evening, we have this one here. This one is called Agatha. Let me play this quick 30-second clip from Carla explaining this pyramid that we're giving away tonight. Absolutely amazing.
Hello, everyone. This is Carla from Ascension Organics. Today, I wanted to show you one of my pieces. Her name is Agatha. I actually name all of my designs after divine feminine names. Agatha reminds me a lot of Egyptian energies just because of the combinations of the black and the gold. So as you can see, she's made of brass metals and citrine crystals. Citrine is also very known for cleansing and protecting against negative energies and for self-esteem. She also has the flower of life sign here in gold. So I hope you like her. Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful.
Hello,
all right,
everyone.
Hold on. There you go. Okay, so that pyramid tonight, Agatha, will be going to somebody in the tip jar tonight. A big thank you to everyone who supports the show. Of course, if you're new to this channel, there's quite a few new people coming on. You might not know that I've been deleted quite a few times and we're still demonetized. So your tips go a long way into supporting me and Janine here as we split the tips every night. So a big thank you to all of you. And this is why we try to give some prizes during the show, because we know we can't always answer all of the questions in the tip jar and our heart breaks out, but we're so appreciative to all of you. Wow. Janine, let's start here. This is big news in Canada. There's two provinces today that completely fell on their sword as it pertains to the mandate for health workers. It started actually with Quebec earlier in the day, and then Ontario followed suit. Now, if you recall, you and I talked about this last month when the deadline came to pass. The Quebec government had said, oh my God, they had realized that 22,000 workers had said a big FU to the government and were just not doing it. And so the premier had extended the deadline another month. And we were like, what's that going to do? They already called your bluff. You lost, dude. So they were delaying announcing that they were capitulating here to the healthcare workers. And here today, boom, we have capitulation from the healthcare, from the Quebec government, and soon after, also the Ontario province. Now, what's interesting in that, I've been having communications today with some people in the healthcare field, and they're like, wait a second here. Should we actually go back to work? Because they're like, well, wait, we're good enough. We need to go back to work, but we're going to be slave workers and we don't have rights. We can't go to the restaurant. We can't travel. We can't do this. We can't do that. Maybe we don't want to go back to work as slave workers. So the government is in trouble here. There's a lot going to be happening in the next couple of days. And maybe this is what we can start pulling the cards here for the audience. I'm sure a lot of people are excited about this. Yes, this is a big news. It's actually a big defeat or an admitted defeat here. No matter how they spin it in this news article, it's a defeat for the government here. But let's talk about how quickly maybe this will unfold, Janine. Is this leading into that major fight we're going to have now with the actual paperwork themselves, or do we need to see a little bit more of this pushback from different industries before the feds here, at least in Canada, finally say, oh, well, with all these exemptions, we can't possibly force the passport on everybody. Half the population is not accepting it. So how far are we from that? What's going on?
Yeah, they're literally at some kind of a standstill where they don't want to admit how defeated they actually are. And yeah, you're right. It was a really big defeat. It was really big. Okay, it's all going to come down here. More and more people. So that will just give a lot more clout. So a lot of other industries will probably do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if those guys can do it, we can do it too. So stepping back in large numbers is obviously the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hearing.
People are going to start kicking back, like bigger groups.
Yeah. I think as people see this in the news, they're saying, oh, well, I guess the pollsters were wrong. The majority of Canadians don't agree, right? As we've been told all along here. Man, this is going to be fascinating to watch in the next couple of days. And I was listening to, I don't usually listen to mainstream news, but I did today to pay attention to how they were going to try to spin this defeat. And they've got all their doctors coming out. Well, you could tell they were just not liking it and trying to find something to hang their hat on to show how ridiculous these healthcare workers were for trying to, how dare they use any personal choice and empowerment. Fascinating.
You mean have some common sense? How dare they?
How dare they?
How dare they?
Yeah. Don't they know they're slaves? They don't have any rights. Oops. Did I say that out loud? Yeah. That's what these guys wanted to say on the news here today. All right. Let's move on to this. Maybe you can set it up. Just before the show, you got this email and you thought, hey, why don't we address here today? So set it up first and I'll bring up the corresponding slide here for the audience.
Okay. So what's that fellow's name I was just talking about?
You mean, okay, you mean Ben Fulford about this one? Ben Fulford.
Yeah, that's it. Ben Fulford. Okay, so like you said, he doesn't have, like, you know, he's been known to be wrong about 50% of the time. But when he's right, he's got some really good, he's right. You know what I'm saying? So he basically, somebody sent me an article that he wrote, and towards the end of it, he reiterates, apparently, because he's been saying this, like you said, for quite a while, that Mr. T has been bailed out on 2 occasions by the, like, I don't think I can say that name, but anyway, big blood families, one of the big blood, the known blood families. Okay, so he's been bailed out by those guys, and so he's compromised. And the guy goes on to say General Flynn is meeting with this reporter, this Ben guy, next week, because General Flynn says, according to him, now I haven't heard General Flynn say this, but he says that General Flynn's been saying that Mr. T had an opportunity to overturn the 2020 November date shenanigans. And he didn't. And so he basically threw everybody under the bus and the military under the bus. So he's obviously compromised. And then he also points out that Mr. T pushes the, you know what. So he lines those things up and says, okay, he must be a bad guy. And it's similar to what Kim Gogan also was saying. So we don't know who got it from who, right? Because it's the same story. So he's in with the bad guys. And General Flynn's going to be ratting him out. Well, I haven't seen General Flynn rat him out yet. So if anybody has seen an article where General Flynn says that, let me know. I'd be interested to see that. But we're going to look at it because obviously it's making the rounds again. And don't forget, though, this is crazy. Ever since November 1st, everybody's been they're doing videos on examining truthers' faces and trying to figure out if they're bad guys or not. Apparently, I'm compromised because some shadow over my face. And oh my
we're
goodness.
all deep state, Janine.
Yeah, we're deep state psyops. And okay, so they're just, it's literally a nonstop a festival of truthers turning their backs on each other. I've never seen anything like it. What happened with a whole bunch of them over that whole Dallas incident.
Right. Let me just correct you. Let me just correct the record here. You were recalling our conversation just before the show. I didn't say that he was wrong 50% of the time. I said that me personally, I'm 50-50 on him and his work. I do follow him some of the time. I do not follow him some of the time. See somebody on the screen there says, he's more like 80% correct. Yeah, what I was saying is that there are some people out there who say that perhaps sometimes he's writing from the wrong team. I don't know that for sure. But like I said, I'm 50-50 on his information. But he has in the past come up with some really cool, deep investigative work on the who's who on all the dark side of things, and so I really appreciate that. But in terms of these weekly reports on this is happening, the war is ending, the mass arrests and all that, he's kind of in the same problem as a lot of other truthers. We don't know the dates. Like, we think we know where this is going, but we don't know the date. So I think this is probably where some people might have some, I guess, reservations with his work, because some of it does sound like a broken record, and that's just, I guess, calling it like it is. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't saying that he was lying 50% of the time. I didn't say that. Okay. So now let's look at that. What's that?
I would like to point out that he actually seemed to think the Queen was alive. So that makes him really iffy in my books.
Right. And you and I talked about
it's obvious she's not. Like, give me a break.
Yeah. You and I talked about this in the last show, and I believe it was on the live show. And I did say, he's known to say that he doesn't really like the woo. He talks about what he sees in front of him. And I think your response was, well, he might be missing the point if he's not talking about the woo, because we're all in the woo now. So, okay. I think that's fair enough here, guys. We're having a conversation. I just wanted to make sure we give respect where it's due, and at the same time we can give a critique also when it's appropriate. Now let's get into that storyboard. So the question here, as I understand the email that was sent to you, is it okay? First of all, there's 2 points. Is it true that Mr. T in the past was bailed out by some of these rich bloodline families? We don't need to mention them, but the premise would be that he is somehow corrupt or captured, because in the past, with his bankruptcies, he's got help by some nefarious people. So is that actually true or not?
Why don't we ask it like this? Is he beholden to these families because of bailouts? I mean, because his family really interweaves with all the really, they rubbed shoulders growing up and everything with all the billionaire families.
I love the way you're saying it, because either way you pull it, he has been bailed out by rich people before. So
he's been kind of out.
Right. So the question is he, because of that, beholden to other interests and maybe has his hands tied around his back? Okay, let's ask that question.
Because that's what the article seems to say, right?
To suggest, yeah.
He was definitely bailed out by wealthy families in the bad guy crew. Okay, but this is his card. So this guy has integrity. And we've got a death card in the middle. So could have been a long time ago, and he's since died a long, slow death of associating with them. So he's been associated, left maybe. Working on his own, like he's like 80% worked out his connection over there. So it's not saying he's beholden to them, but he was definitely, maybe not beholden, maybe they thought he was. He's doing his own thing, but he definitely got bailed out by really wealthy people in the club. I mean, we got pictures of him rubbing shoulders with club members. Everybody's seen those pictures. They were all at his club, his Mar-a-Lago club or whatever it's called. Like, we know he rubbed shoulders with all of those guys.
Okay. You're breaking up a little bit, Janine. I think your connection's a little bit poor. You're freezing in and out, but I think we got all of your answers there. The second part of that question is, did he have an offer by the military to revert the results of last November? And did he, in fact, say no, as it is being portended here by the article from Ben Fulford?
So we'll ask, is that information correct?
Right.
If we say it like that, this will be the information. Is it correct? That's the second card, past, present, and near future. Just so we know what we're looking at. First card pull will be the information. So that'll help us understand if it's legit. And is it correct? That'll give us further clarification. So that's the information. And that's, so the information, and did he get bailed out? So that looks like a yes. Or no, that's not the bailed out question. The information about, could you say this? So I'm getting all confused. The information, so that's a yes. He had a chance to overturn.
Okay. And he refused it.
And he refused. Okay, so this is so that was the information. Well, this is the information as it's presented. And this is, what did he do with it? So we've got the hang on, let's keep looking. So yes, I think he did. Okay, so now we've got justice. And here's maybe the why of why he did. Okay. Okay, so justice in the past. So they offered to overturn it or lock down the country or whatever. It looks like that's true. Okay, but it looks like he got insight, or he was being guided by I just did a card reading or a whole show on this. He was guided by these guys to do it because they thought things would go further ahead in the world if he didn't do it that way. I think I've heard something about this. So if they would have locked down the country, everyone would have blamed Mr. T, and it would have wreaked big havoc. So yeah, I think that story's true. I think they could have done that, but they decided to go a different route. And where's these cards? Okay, part of the route was, remember at first he wanted to show that the justice system was corrupt. So doing it the justice way didn't work. But they were saying, actually, they wanted to show you that that even the Supreme Court turned down looking into it. So they went through all of these other ways of doing things. And it was on the advice of wise, ancient soul off-worlders, which I think he's been taking a lot of advice from. So now I think what we got to ask is, because actually we've heard that. Now that I think about it, I've heard that before. It's just never been said quite like that guy said it.
Well, what's interesting is why now Flynn would be coming out with this, or why would he?
That's what we ask next.
There's a few people in the chat. Oh, okay, hold on a second here. There's a few people in the chat who seem to think that this is my narrative, and they're like, JC doesn't understand. I'm like, no. Hold on. First of all, we're asking questions, and people are asking us questions. We started this line of questioning here because somebody sent Janine a question on this storyboard. So we're just developing it here because many people would want to know. All right, so please. And again, there's a few negative attacks here on Ben Fulford. He's not here to defend himself. Please don't leave it at that. You can agree to disagree, but leave the personal guy alone, please, in the show. Otherwise, you're probably going to get booted by the moderators. I don't have time, but I'm just telling you, maybe be a little bit more polite in the chat. You'll go a lot longer in the show. Okay, Janine, so the question is now, if that information that Ben is presenting forward is correct, why now is General Flynn coming out with this information as it's being presented here by this narrative?
We didn't ask. We should separately ask the part about General Flynn. Is that true?
Okay. Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're right. There's three components there. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's ask that first then.
Okay.
Is it correct that Flynn now is, as presented by the storyboard, that Flynn would be coming out to explain that, in fact, the military had done this and that Trump had refused?
So we should look at the relationship between General Flynn and do they trust each other?
Right.
Trump.
Okay.
So the first card pull is going to be Flynn and the second card's Trump.
Okay.
That's Flynn. That's Trump. Okay, interesting. 9 of Cups. So he doesn't look angry at Trump, but let's keep looking at what's between them. And this is Trump, who's withholding and like just waiting, watching, and in a position of he's ready for action, but he's patiently waiting for the right time. Okay, so, but this is Flynn, which doesn't look angry, but let's see what's between the two of them. So this is the past, the present, and the near future. Interesting. So the past, 9 of Pentacles, independence. So these two don't necessarily kiss each other's butts. They probably have a lot of respect for each other. That's in the past. So they're both really independent thinkers and likely independently think differently about different things. This is between them, but it is well aspected. So there's a lot of inspired energy there. And they probably have heated discussions about things. So that's interesting. But there's a lot of inspiration too, especially with this card next to it. Right? But this card can be anger. Okay, but I'm not necessarily getting that with this above it. That doesn't look angry, but they're very independent. They're very independent thinkers and they inspire each other. Let's see about the near future. This was the near future. So the 10 things are just getting really, they're both really tired out. Or Flynn, because we were asking about him. He's really done with the whole narrative. What I'm getting is Trump took the long way because he wanted, and he got advice from that off-world or wise one, or that wise entity, or some off-world or wisdom. And Flynn might think, because he's an independent thinker, he may think that Trump made it harder than it had to be. Because don't we all wish he would have just overturned things right at the get-go? Okay, but remember, we've been told in the back channels for a long time that they did it on purpose to show all of the people in the swamp as they went. So this feels like regurgitated information we've all known that's clumped together to and like a narrative's made out of it. But I'm not getting, let's just literally ask, is Mr. T compromised and working for the Dark Hats? Because that's basically what the guy's saying.
Not necessarily. He's just saying that he refused to reverse the re-election, but that could very well be a strategic for the highest good of the population.
No, that's not what he said. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And that's what we've heard on the back channels. No, what he said was Trump threw them under the bus and or compromised everything.
Okay, that's Ben Fulford saying that. Okay.
Yeah, not General Flynn. General Flynn never said that I know of.
Right,
But
neither did I. Okay. So
he's going to meet with
just
General Flynn.
people are going to lose their shit here. So there's already people saying it's all BS. Hold on a second here. Okay. So General Flynn didn't say that Trump threw him under the bus. This is Fulford saying that.
Fulford.
Okay.
So I think this is just that part of that big scheme.
A gut punch thing.
We've been drumming this up. This is like the last ditch desperate effort from anybody who's got any leverage is trying to throw the whole thing under the bus. So everybody gets defeated. And that's just, I'm not feeling defeated, but let's just go literally. Whose side is Mr. T on? Who's he working for?
Yeah. Okay.
For the people, or is he for the bad guys.
Just to take a quick pause here too on General Flynn himself, when you said, "Hey, maybe Flynn doesn't know that Trump was considering maybe higher sources, ET sources." Yep. When Flynn was on with Greg Hunter, I remember that 𝐓𝐀𝐑�𝐿 also said that it felt to him like maybe Flynn was missing part of the picture. He was very focused on the election itself, but maybe was missing other parts of the picture. At least it didn't come through, and Greg Hunter wasn't able to get him to talk about that either on the show. So it could very well be that there are parts of this that Flynn doesn't get, or at least cannot talk about yet. So time will tell here on that one. Okay, so the question is now you have on the deck, you're asking is
Mr. T for the people, or is he compromised on the bad side?
Okay.
Whose side is he on?
All righty.
Mr. T. And the page. The page. Okay, so Mr. T and the page. The past. Wow. Interesting. Well, he's really tired out, I'll tell you that. He's really tired. He wants to flip everything. He's very worried and fearful, in particular about, and I've never seen cards like this around Mr. T, in particular around the mainstream media narrative. So that's the last thing they got to take down. So okay, we don't have the devil here or the Hierophant, so he's not on the bad guy's side. But he looks really worried and in a little bit leery and dreary. Like
long in the tooth, yeah.
And then, but everything flips. So he looks as ready to, let's pull two clarify. He looks as ready to flip everything as we do. Like he's done. He feels really leery.
Well,
also he might be fearing that a lot of people are coming for him right now. Could be fearing for his life here, fearful, and this could be passing over card. He's fearing for his life.
Is it possible that, is it possible that Flynn, by doing this move, as it's being said by Fulford here, and I have no way of verifying this for now, is it possible that Flynn is simply forcing the hand of Trump so that we can move on here, as we say, as opposed to being in this limbo for all of this time that action will start after that? So is Flynn basically just forcing the hand here so that Trump can respond to those accusations and perhaps put in play whatever else needs to be put in play here and go for gold, so to speak, as opposed to keep waiting and waiting and waiting?
So that's the card I got. So it does seem to be directed at Mr. T, but let's pull a clarifier. Surrender. Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think all of this could just be to push the end. They must all be done. I mean, it didn't look like Flynn was 100% on board with the decision to do it the long, hard way. You know, he is a military guy after all, and a lot of us wouldn't agree with that, but they did it the really careful way. And whenever we looked, we always saw that the off-world or wise council was pulling on the brakes all the time, doing it so that humans really got it, so that we never go back to this again. Also, all the swamp gets cleared. Like there's, but for humans, this is difficult. This is the hard way, right?
Wow. Hey, well, you know, it goes in line with everything else we've been seeing here for November, because you were seeing very positive cards here for November, but in order to get to that positivity, somebody has to act. We can't be in limbo. So this could be
we need to flip the switch, and that's where that Wheel of Fortune, that I think he's pushing it because Trump might have bought into that. Okay, we'll go really slow, and he's really being counseled, and maybe we do need a little push from the human side.
Wow.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Jesus. Okay. Eric Klein from the PayPal tip jar. Thank you so much. What does he say? Great show, you too. Thank you for all your helping. Stay sane on this. Okay, wow. Thank you. No question, but thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, we'll be back to the PayPal tip jar in a second here, but thank you, Eric. Let's go back here. There's so many stories here. Oh my God, on the slide deck, and we're already half an hour into this show. This was important. Okay, let's step back here. You tweeted this earlier today. Set this up for the audience here, and then I'm going to ask you some questions and pull some cards on this. Why did you tweet this? Why is this important right now?
Well, they're finding things on the Balmoral estate. Like this has probably been known about, but not really in the main population probably knows that there's a pyramid built and all kinds of actually really suspicious looking dark cult sort of things going on the estate. And so this guy goes over these big estates with what are those things called that you can see into what's going on from above? I forget what they're called.
Lookout towers?
No. They fly around and
drones.
Yeah.
Drones. Okay.
Drones. Anyway, so he's taking these photo images, and there's this whole this pyramid, and I think he added the eye. I didn't see the eye on the original pyramid. Okay, there might be something etched into it, but I didn't see it. But the pyramid was built, I believe it was by Queen Victoria, and the story was that it was in honor of her partner. But it's pretty suspicious. I mean, there's a lot of occult stuff just on the estate itself as well. So it just looked really suspicious. Like, what is she doing?
Well, my question is going to be this here. Is this an indication here that we're very close to learning that the Queen is in fact dead, and we're going to do that London Bridge, maybe shot across the bow or starter pistol here on all of this activity, and they're choosing this particular pyramid here to maybe launch that for the normies here in terms of symbolism. I think this is what's going on. Let's ask the cards.
Remember, the Balmoral estate is what really the creepiest, and they do a lot of hunting there. Okay, so Jeanette Archer was talking about the hunting parties in Balmoral. The word Balmoral came up. That's one of the places that they do it. And this pyramid was in the middle of nowhere with and then cleared off, all this bush cleared. And here's this pyramid and this kind of some other interesting things around it. But it was fascinating. I don't remember all the things the guy was talking about, but just interesting. And he was absolutely alluding to the demonic connections of the royal family. So I'm thinking things are just going to just keep pouring out about this family.
Yep. So is this a trigger here for London Bridge, the announcement of the dead Queen?
It'll be great when they can get into those places, which I believe they already have access to. A lot of people think nobody's living in these big palaces, by the way. A lot of people think already they've been taken over by the good guys.
Yeah.
It'll be great to see just exactly what's in those places.
And I thought a lot of those had been sold here in the last couple of years too. They were liquidating a lot of these properties. That's interesting. We'll go for the audience here. We'll go to Dallas next because Janine and I pulled some cards on Monday night about this November 2nd Dallas event. And we'll do a quick update on that next for you guys. So yes, I see you guys in the chat. We'll get right back to that. Okay, so go ahead.
I think it is. They're just gearing up to, it could even be 3 days away. And Monday we said 6 days. So
yeah, we're pretty close.
We're getting close. Okay, so it's one of the dates they had planned. They probably have certain dates they have to do it on. So this part's judgment. So they're looking at it like they're literally sitting on the crossroads with that date still. So we could see this real soon. Yeah. Surrender. So the whole thing starts to crumble, and of course, all kinds of stuff will start coming out about these guys. I mean, it's been coming out nonstop. If anybody's paying attention, by the way, and people aren't being shut down doing it. So that I find that, and obviously, That's really interesting. You used to worry about gray suits knocking on your door, and about 2 years ago, just the energy lifted around that. It was weird.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
an energy thing, and you could also talk about the sea and the sea people.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone.
The last name starts with a C.
We'll leave that one alone. Yeah. All right. Gail, she says, JC, ask about devolution. Gail, that's a 2-hour show right there. So you're going to have to be more precise with your questions. But yes, devolution is happening right before your eyes now. We're seeing it in the healthcare, in our governance structures, in our education structures, banking systems. I mean, it's all around you. It's happening. It's not a thing of when is it going to happen. It must happen, and it's happening, but it must happen because we're moving into this new era, and all of these old structures have to go. So this is
nobody's going to trust them. Nobody's going to trust them.
Exactly. Oh, well, speaking of that, oh my God, I have so many other things we could talk about, but okay, let's just quickly go back to Dallas here. There's a few people asking. Laura says, yeah, thank you about Dallas. Okay, so on Monday night, we pulled some cards and we said, is this the big day where all these dead people, we see dead people walking in Dallas? And you pulled the cards and you said, no, not really. Doesn't look like it. And of course, doesn't look like it. Here we are, November 3rd. Do we want to have an update to say, maybe ask the card, well, what did happen? Was it delayed?
What did happen? Yeah. Did anything happen behind the scenes? Was that to get everybody over here while something happened? Let's just
yeah. Was it a big distraction, or did something was something supposed to happen? Oh my God, I'm tired. Was something supposed to happen but didn't because of something else? Let's see what the cards have to say. Somebody in the chat said, yes, you look tired, JC. I'm like, yeah, I didn't sleep last night. It's so weird. I had these weird dreams all night. Listen to this, Janine. I was trying to rescue my dad from an internment camp in World War II. I was running from camp to camp to try to find him, to extricate him from the camp.
Wow.
I woke up and I was all in sweats, and I called my dad. I'm like, are you okay? He says, yeah, I'm good, son. What's going on? I'm like, fuck. I had this weird fucking dream all night. I was trying to save your ass. Anyways, yeah, so I haven't slept much last night. That was a weird one.
Maybe it's symbolic. So some part of yourself was in those internment camps.
Maybe.
You were trying to save that part of yourself.
Yeah, it was weird. All right. But as we say, the show must go on, whether I'm tired or not. Janine and I go on live every Monday and Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And if you guys like the show, please hit that like button. We appreciate it. Janine, so what happened yesterday?
I think some people were mingling around in the crowds who might have been. I have a feeling if you were looking, you might have seen them. I feel like some people did come out. There was some truth came out, because this judgment card, there was truth to it. They didn't take the stage, though. I guess that's what they were hoping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the judgment card, so they were milling around or in ready, let's say. So the story about a big event could have happened is true. Okay, so for some reason, it didn't go down. I wonder if they, something, so safety, that's a safety card, and got whisked away. They got taken off. I think there was a safety issue.
Okay.
I think they're going to have a redo. Right? But that's kind of what we got. We got that it was going to go ahead later, and everything in November looked a little later than people been saying.
Okay.
When we first did the November 2nd look, or I did it on my channel, I got, okay, we're going to be disappointed in what -48. He was saying that by midnight on the 2nd, the whole world knows all these people are alive, blah, blah, blah. And I got, no, that's going to get delayed. And that's exactly what this looks like. But it doesn't look like it was all a fib, because that would have been there's other cards for that. It was a true, but they might have had to pull it at the last minute for safety reasons. Safety, and they scooted them out of there. And people were saying there was lots of helicopters overhead, unmarked helicopters, and like they could have just whisked them out.
Okay.
But they were going to show up. Like it was a true story.
Okay. Well, remains to be seen, maybe for the rest of the month. And Jenny says, "Yeah, I had a recent dream, almost just exactly like that. But she was looking for her kids, building to building. You know that frantic thing? I was going through the building, and I was looking at people. No, he's not here. He's not here. Okay, next building. I was just like I was just like, you know how you're running, but you're crawling on the ground because like you're in mud and it's just hard. Like, oh my god, it was the worst dream. Anyways, yes, okay. And somebody says, JC, I like it when you swear. I think I swear when I'm tired, Denise, because when I'm tired, I lose my translation. So my vocabulary reduces quite a bit. So I fill in the blanks with some swear words. So I don't mean it. But anyways, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, this is a great question here from man, I can never pronounce that name. Sarvasaha in the Insider Access Pass. She's saying there are stories out there that the Australian military being trained to go house to house to forcibly give the thing to the people. Is that actually what they're training to do, or are they training to perhaps wait, is this actually training to arrest maybe some people? So it's going to be in the guise of going into houses to inoculate people, but really what they're going to do is perhaps grab a few of those bad peoples.
Okay, our best way to ask that is, why don't we say, what are they being trained to do?
Okay.
What's true about? Is that true? Is any of that true?
Okay.
Or is it something else?
Okay.
The story about the military. Okay, it's something totally different. So if they are training, and I'm not necessarily convinced they are. Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, but it's for something totally different, because this is a totally unique card. They're looking a totally different way. In the reading, they're looking a totally different way. So they're doing some training for something totally different than what you're being told. So it's a hidden thing. It's you don't get to know, or they're not telling you the truth about the situation. There's a hidden agenda why they put that story out. I'm thinking maybe we've got wake up the normies. They're trying to wake everybody up still. This is an unnecessary stress. It's unfortunate, but it seems to be what these kind of the kind of people that watch mainstream media, that's what they need to be put in the position of really to wake up. They need to get really scared, it looks like. Yeah, so there's hidden things that the military are training for, but it has the story about what they're going to do is not true.
Okay.
It feels like it's to wake everybody up. So they did the same thing in the US. They did the very same. They said they were going to go door to door. There was all these memes about it and jokes. And of course, it fizzled out. It's completely illegal. And it would be absolutely a disaster. I mean, it would be unbelievable.
Let's do a quick one here from the PayPal tip jar. It just struck me here energetically. My mother is having heart surgery tomorrow. Will she make it or pass over? From Jane. Sorry to hear that, Jane. I hope she's going to be okay. And for those of you in the PayPal tip jar, one of you will be winning this amazing Agatha pyramid here from the show. So we'll be contacting you tomorrow with the winner of that one. So let's go back to that PayPal tip jar. Jane.
Wow.
Heart surgery tomorrow.
She may literally spend a few minutes on the other side with that card. So this could be like, this is 10 is an ending. Okay. And then we've got the 9 of Pentacles, but then we've got this, but then pulls through. So I got a feeling she'll get really, really close and even go to the other side for a bit. So maybe they'll stop her heart in the surgery. I don't know how that works. But this feels like the outcome is she's coming back to be with you guys. But she may spend a little time there. Like she goes and comes back within the surgery is what it looks like. And this is interesting. She may feel a little blue and have some kind of an interesting experience on the other side emotionally. So I don't know if she'll want to talk about it.
Hmm.
So as she heals, there could be some sadness, so some kind of energy she connected with on the other side, or some
Wow.
kind of awareness she became aware of,
Okay.
and comes back to maybe tell the tale.
Okay, that'll be fascinating. Well, our hearts go out to her, and hopefully it all turns out okay. Jean says Janine should draw some cards on JC's dream. I'd love that, but I'm not going to waste you guys' time. We have so many more things to talk about here tonight for you guys. Next up, I think again in the tip jar. Wait a second, I just had it. You got? Is it Maureen? Wait, hold on. Can you see this? Yes. Okay, let me bring this up on the screen. This is a good, relatively quick question because I'm trying to do some rapid fire here to get more stuff into the show here tonight, guys. Maureen is asking, okay, you guys are awesome. Thank you for all you do. Are some truthers working with the dark hats? Can we get a percentage maybe, Janine? We know that to be true. We've asked this before, but as it stands now, maybe can we ask the cards for a percentage of truthers maybe who willingly or unwittingly work for the dark hats? That's a great question still.
You bet. You
Mhm.
bet.
Yeah.
Okay, look for the ones with really small audiences. Yep, absolutely. Hidden, all these hidden cards. So yeah, but this looks like they're not very well known. So all of those big ones they always call out, not them. Okay. Yeah, and they're going to go running scared really soon, by the way. They're going to go running scared really soon because all the stuff they're saying is going to be very quickly get turned around here, is what I figure. Right?
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, so if they got hardly any viewers, guess what? They're talking smack about all the truthers. Yeah, I always say. So
but
somebody
there's truthers out there who have big ass channels who are
Yeah.
working for the dark hats too. You and I plugged a few
Yeah,
a few months ago.
but
We had pulled some cards.
recently there's been a slew of these totally unknowns
Yeah.
doing
That's true.
videos on
Yeah.
legit truthers like
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
They based the whole video on me. I mean, how flattering. And telling everybody how bad I am. And
You
they
got
had
a stalker, Janine? You have
158 subscribers. And it's like, okay, well, and then the person that wrote me and was all freaking out about it, I'm like thinking to myself, okay, so why are you believing them? Seriously? Like they
Janine,
haven't been at it for years.
You know what they
saying
say,
the same
Janine.
thing.
You know what they say, Janine. You haven't made it until you have a stalker. You've made it big, Janine. You have stalkers.
Yeah.
Okay, Jan, Emily, JC, do you have a link for the women who makes those pyramids? Yes, but we're going to do a special show tomorrow. Is it tomorrow night, Janine? Hold on, let me bring this up. Yes, it's tomorrow. We are going to be inviting Carla on the show tomorrow night for a special story here, not just about the pyramids, but about her connection off-world and her son's connection off-world too, that was recounted in the last Sherry Divban video. That was the Alpha Centauri message. So if you haven't seen that, go check out Sherry Divban's channel. You'll see that video was quite successful. Anyways, we are going to be talking to the amazing Carla tomorrow. That's at 5 p.m. Eastern. So thank you for asking. Okay, next question here. Is it Carol? Okay, this is interesting. It ties into some of the work that you and I have been doing with Tamara. And folks, we're going to have Tamara back on the show again. We're working on that, and hopefully we'll have a better connection next time she's on here. But just maybe watch the schedule here in the next couple of days. We should be putting up a poster for our next upcoming interview with Tamara. She says, Carol Black, I love you guys. I was told that I was a madam in a past life and possibly trafficked. Would like to know if this is accurate, one, and perhaps what the message here is for her in this lifetime here with respect to this storyboard. Why does she need to know that, or why does she feel the need to ask that question now? For Carol.
So I just got a whole downloaded story, so I'll just say it.
Go ahead.
Doesn't even, the cards don't even tell the story like I know I can.
Okay.
I just got a download. Okay, so she was a madame, and she made really good money, but felt really bad about because Madame's traffic people,
Mhm.
by the way,
Mhm.
right? So she felt really bad about it because in her growing up, how she even got in that lifestyle was she was trafficked. So I get that she was trafficked and then became a madame and had a lot of mixed feelings about, because that was the lifestyle she knew, but had a lot of mixed feelings about it, and ended up really working hard that lifetime to helping her, the girls that she would have as a madame. So in her brothel or whatever, she was very generous and kind and tried to get them out of the lifestyle. So on one hand, she was still working in the industry,
Mhm.
and but on the other hand, she was trying hard to, get them sorted out so they wouldn't have to do that lifestyle. Because a lot of people in those kind of lifestyles got there because they were abused as children.
Mhm.
All kinds of things, bad childhoods often, and or that kind of abuse that could lead you into a lifestyle like that. Not having the self-esteem to, not all of them. I mean, some people choose it from a totally different perspective, but it's a big draw to people that have been abused and trafficked themselves.
Is it fair to say that she has or will have a role in healing some of that karma in this lifetime, both for her and perhaps some of the trafficked women?
Oh yeah, she's like all of us. Like, we're trying to heal that. We're trying to let it go for good. We're trying to let go of the kind of people that would even do that to children,
Mhm.
and then lead them into those kind of lifestyles. And you know what I mean? The whole thing around it is, and I got to be careful of my words that I'm using. Even saying the word, like the other word for young people, starts with a CH, if you can imagine. Believe it or not, guys figured out that the algorithm doesn't want you saying that word too much.
Yep. It's getting
Can you
harder and
believe
harder
it?
to
Just
out here.
that word.
Yeah, I
So
know.
we have to say, and that's why guys been writing young people when
Yeah.
I say
Or small
small
humans, I
people.
say.
Can
Yeah.
you believe it? So
I know.
that's how weird.
Mhm.
Like, all these things you can get away with, but you can't get away with talking about our young people.
I know. It's getting crazy out here.
Anyway,
Oh, that's why Janine and I have that censored or uncensored pay-per-view server where we have episodes that we just can't publish here. Speaking about that, we put out 2 this week, absolutely amazing videos, including this one that could never go on YouTube. This was all about the indictments and the faith of some of these politicians and military personnel. So if you haven't checked that out, that is episode 29. And also this week, we put out this investigation on the solar flash. Absolutely amazing spiritual connections to all of that. We had no idea going into the show. We had prepared a whole slide deck, and finally I had to do things live during our recording to kind of catch up to what the cards were saying. But that was a fabulous episode. Go check that out, guys, if you have a chance. And it does, of course, support us in doing all of these shows here for free on YouTube. Okay, 𝐓𝐀𝐑𝐄𝐀𝐃 on the Insider Access Pass question. Will 𝐓𝐀�ഗ്രand, will 𝐓�ഗ്രand publicly default this month? Okay, so he's being precise, which will lead China to revalue gold to pay their debts. So there's 2 parts here. I'll ask it as one then. Cliff is also seeing this, by the way, in the data. He's talked about this in the past year, where he believes that to get out from underneath this bond debacle, China will have to revalue gold here very, very soon. And perhaps that leads us into all of these crazy revaluations of gold and silver for Christmas, which was in his Webbot data. So is 𝐓�ഗ്രand maybe one of the triggers here, or the dominoes to the revaluation of gold and silver? 𝐓𝐀𝐑𝐄𝐀𝐃 in the Insider Access Pass.
But the person was asking in the next month.
In the next month, yeah. Well, okay. That's 2 things then. In the next month is whether or not 𝐓�ഗ്രand would default. And then his second question was, and will China revalue gold to repay it or to get out from under it, right? So it's 2 questions, depending on how you want to read this here. I'll let you decide how to pull the cards on it.
Okay. I think it'll take more like 7 weeks, so a little more than almost 2 months. Or maybe it'll stretch into more than a month anyway.
Okay.
They're desperately trying to not have that happen, though, the bad guys.
Mhm.
Those are both my bad guys cards, and they're like tripping over themselves to have that not happen. So
It's crazy. And the pressure on silver today, too, is absolutely crazy as well. I had Bill Holter on the show yesterday. The new series is called Hi Ho Silver. Of course, that's Bill Holter on his horse Principe there. And he was reporting also that the Royal Canadian Mint is late on their deliveries. In the States, the U.S. Mint has been not delivering for 2 or 3 weeks here to authorized dealers. So a lot of the dealers now are running very, very tight in inventory. Why don't we ask that? What's going on here? Is it because the smart money, so to speak, are sniffing out what's happening in China and they're emptying all the vaults here? And perhaps that's why it's putting a stress on these mints? What's going on with the supply of gold and silver right now?
hoarding, really wealthy people hoarding it,
Yeah.
keeping it for themselves. Yeah, there's a hold on it, and it looks illegal. Like, it looks funky. Like, they're doing it out of fear. That'll get balanced out, though. That's not going to last too long. This will get righted.
Well,
Yeah.
what Bill seems to
that's
think
when
is
it
that.
goes.
Oh, sorry, there was an echo. Keep going, Janine. I didn't mean
That's when it goes, like, could go really big, right, off the scales.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what he was expecting. But he's thinking, too, that we get to this point where it's either unobtainium, I think is the word Bill used, or yes, you can obtain it, but at a crazy premium price like we've never seen before. So we seem to be entering that panic to own moment that Cliff High was talking about here, November, December, in his past WebBot reports. We seem to be here now. Hey, guys, if you want to check out these 2021 silver Philharmonics at $375 over spot, and there are still, wait a second, is that the right slide? I think Andy just sent me the new ones. Yeah, that's right. Wait. I'm not sure that's the right one. I think it's the right one. At any rate, yes, go to beyondmystic.net /Hi Ho Silver for the weekly specials here on silver. And he still has inventory, but he was running on this big inventory that he had ordered way back when. Right now, we're seeing some delays again here with the Royal Canadian Mint. And Janine and I are experiencing this ourselves. We bought a few coins ourselves of silver, and we were told that, hey, suddenly we have to wait here from our Canadian supplier. So interesting indeed as we move forward in these crazy times. Okay, I wanted to bring this one up, Janine. You and I have talked about him before. I haven't seen this video. It was sent to me just before we went live today. But essentially, I think he's doing a recap of the last video where he was giving the Australian government officials here or the bad guys until October 31st to change their course, which apparently right now they haven't really done so. At least if they have, they haven't done so openly. How do you want to frame the question here? First of all, did you have a chance to see this video today? And if no, how would you phrase the question here as a follow-up?
I hadn't seen it. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I just heard about it from somebody. Okay. What does he say? He swears a lot. I heard that.
Yeah. I only watched a few first seconds, and he's like, "They're a bunch of fucking idiots" or something like that. Again, I apologize for my French. Do we want to come back to him maybe in a special show? I'm thinking we can do a special investigation on him as well. How do we phrase it? We need to do something for Australia tonight here too, because they're
okay. Let's just see if he's been calling them out. Is that going to do any good?
Yeah.
Is he going to have is what he's saying backed up with legit? Is that threat legit to these guys? Are they coming down right away?
That's a great question, because that's what he was saying, or else suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
Okay, so they haven't rescinded their ways, so will they be suffering the consequences? Okay, that's a great way of putting it. Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate it.
So that was in the past. So he made that big announcement that they were going to be in big doo-doo. if they didn't, step up by the 31st and get on the right side, right? Okay, so he does seem to have some people backing him up. And it's interesting because it looks off-worlder. Friends in high places that could even be off-worlders, otherworldly. Interesting. 2, 6. And I think it'll take longer, though. It's not going to happen overnight. This is going to take over the next couple of months here. Let's hope it's days. That these guys finally get taken out. Finally, for good, get wrestled up. I'm thinking they're already compromised and they're puppeted, but I don't think they can completely publicly round them up or have them fall just this exactly on the 31st. Obviously, that date already went, so it doesn't look like it. So this is going to take a little bit more time here. There's something going on that they're still wrestling with. It's like the dark hats are throwing
Okay.
They're like a chicken with its head cut off. They're just flapping around doing everything they can to stay relevant.
Okay, let's go quickly here in overtime. I'll do a few rapid ones. Again, the slide deck was full today. There's lots of news media coming out. This one here, China was announcing earlier yesterday that they were recommending to their population to hoard food for winter. And of course, we saw huge lineups everywhere, empty shelves everywhere. And I put up this poster saying, we're going to need a bigger freezer if we here, with our small population, have to compete with China here hoarding food. So the question is, what the hell does China know that we don't know? How come our governments aren't telling us the same thing? What's going on with this announcement today or yesterday morning from China wanting their population here to stock up before winter? This was an emergency broadcast. It was very serious and people took it very seriously here. I was sent a few videos of frantic people just trying to get whatever they could get from the shelves here yesterday.
Okay, I hope I'm right about this. Okay, this feels like they're pushing more fear agenda. They're trying to freak everybody out because here's the outcome. The tower, and so there's some kind of breakthrough and truth comes out. And it creates a breakthrough. So it's nothing like what they're saying. This being this is the outcome. And this was underneath the Chinese government and what they were up to. So they're trying to create, for some reason, drama. Okay, because the outcome is way better. This is a breakthrough card. This is the card I kept getting for November. There's some kind of breakthrough and honesty and truth that changes that narrative. So it's like could be part of the movie, could be part of China might have their own movie going on.
Mm-hmm.
Propaganda. They're trying to get everything sold so they can bring out the new stuff. You know what I mean? I don't trust them. If they're saying that, they're just, I don't know. I'm thinking they're trying to create drama.
Okay.
I'm not.
It's not the first time.
I'm not saying there won't be shortages, but they're going to create shortages doing that.
Yeah, maybe that's the point too. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. This one was interesting today too. I wanted to mention it for the audience too. Again, we were talking about these victories at the beginning of the show in Ontario and Quebec here in Canada. This is also a victory in the sense that these emails have just come out now, and you can go scroll this article. I'll bring the link down. But essentially, it showed that they knew they had problems with this particular item, and that the item definition didn't meet the actual definition as it stood and as it was shared with the public. I'm choosing my words here not to have too many troubles here. So is this a big crack, or is this what we would call also in addition to what Cliff was calling the media casualty, where people realize finally here that, again, they're being lied to, and these guys knew they were lying. They went in and changed the definition to match what the product they were trying to give here to, again, deceive people into taking this particular product. So is this, maybe we can ask this, is this the good guys putting this out now? Is it, what's the strategy behind this coming out? Is this literally a defeat for these guys, or is there something else at play here?
Yeah, it's definitely defeat for them and facing judgment. So these guys are all about to get taken down, and it's the good guys doing it.
Okay.
They've been carefully working towards disclosing, releasing information. Really, remember we went the long, slow road on the advice of the off-worlders.
Yeah.
Trump took the long, slow. He took the advice of those guys, which is really interesting because he seems like a bit of a hothead, and you don't think he'd do that.
Yeah.
But he's done it somehow brilliantly. But a lot of people don't like it. It's uncomfortable for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a feeling it's like more healing in the long run. And so this was done by whatever you're talking about there. That was released by the good guys.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's all been planned out I think they got like really wise counsel from off-world that sees the big picture and doesn't take things personally and doesn't have an ego that's helping them. And I talked about it today on Tarot by Janine. That's called the Hermit card. And it's not literally, it's just been coming up as the Hermit card. I wasn't trying to say my interpretation of the Hermit card, but the archetype of this entity I've been getting is the Hermit card. I keep getting it in my readings. And that's who I think's been helping with these agendas and letting things out and the cat out of the bag just at the right time. Like it's all just trying to wake up the sleeping. So, but at the same time, don't completely ruin their whole lives at the same time.
Right. What a delicate dance that must be.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing for Canada here too. I wanted to bring this up. Last month, you and I talked about the fact that this report had come out that the military was admitting that they had used the situation at hand to test propaganda on Canadians and how they would go about doing that. It was a fascinating article. It's like, wow, these guys are admitting they're actually part of the propaganda machine here in Canada, our military. Now, this year today was interesting also. Elections Canada basically pulled out, surveyed Canadians just before the elections here to figure out who was into the conspiracy mindset, quote unquote. And if you read their survey and how they actually look for this information, really what they were asking is, which ones of those Canadians are actually awake and which one can we still fool in this election? So what's going on here with this institution? Go ahead.
No, it was the opposite. That was a white hat op to find out how many awoke people there were in Canada. They were already working their stuff.
Nice.
That was them. That was the white hats figuring out how many awake people do we have.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
That
is funny. Okay. Man, we're in hour 7. We should start putting this down. Okay. Maybe last words of wisdoms here until our next show on Monday. I'm not sure how to ask this one. I was thinking of a specific subject, but maybe we'll leave it for this weekend. You and I will do another PPV this weekend. Okay, so let's talk about the financial system here. You and I had this crazy show on Monday night. A lot of people took offense to the conversations and the questions we were asking, but yet after the show, I had a ton of email from people saying, thank you, JC and Janine, for asking the questions. We're all wondering the same thing. We don't want to take anything for granted, and we certainly don't want to get fooled once again. We've all been fooled. So I got so many emails. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate that. So let's ask about this now. Are we seeing something maybe hit the system this week? If they're trying to force the hand of Trump here through General Flynn, is another trigger perhaps this financial system hiccup too here that might wake up quite a few normies? Is that right around the corner for us as well? A big yes.
That's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's the yes.
Yeah.
That's the desire. And they're manipulating things to get that to happen. So there's a lot of push for that.
That could explain a lot of that hoarding in that physical gold and silver for the people in the know, trying to get possession here and get stuff off the market. I just refreshed this slide, guys. I was wrong when I first put it up. It's the Krugerrands that are now on sale, available for you guys. So I just updated the chart for you guys. So that's beyondmystic.net/hi-ho-silver to get your hands on those amazing Krugerrands. And those are very cheap compared to everybody else selling on the market right now. So please do give them a try while they are available for you guys. Okay, guys, that's it for tonight, man. I need to sleep. This is Tarot by Janine. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. There's 8,200 people in the chat right now, so please hit that subscribe button and that like on our video. Also here on Sending Ravens, if you're watching on my channel, and if you're watching on Sending Ravens, please do come over here to Beyond Mystic 3, our third backup channel here on YouTube, and click that subscribe button. Tomorrow, Andy Sheckman will be on at 3 p.m. Eastern, and Carla with Janine and I at 5 p.m. And tomorrow night, another edition of the Quantum Woo. This is going to be a very interesting episode as well, so don't miss that one at 8 o'clock Eastern. And finally, on Friday, Sherry Divban and Janine are back on the show here, and it's all about teaching our children. So please don't miss that one. If you have kids, this is the show for you. We are all trying to get on that wavelength and to maybe also learn from our children as we move into this new world we're moving into. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. This was Tarot Reading by Janine. I'm Jacques-Claude. Yes, that's my name. I'm Jacques-Claude. Have a good evening, everyone. We'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.